Appreciate you being on Pro Wrestling Force podcast. I got Principal Steve Tortarello on the show. And if you watch Warrior Wrestling, you'll know who he is. Of course, he is generally makes the announcements of matches that are going to happen, and also acts as a commissioner somewhat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're not like the official one, but there needs to be sometimes a voice to come in there and set things straight. So yeah, let's talk about Stadium Series June 5th. Obviously is the first step, that you're going to have. Big card. July 17th is going to be the next big one as well. And I believe you're going to have one in August. So, just talk about how excited are you for, all these events. It's June 5th, July 17th, and August 21st.
I am incredibly excited. So it has been the longest layoff since we've had a Warrior show. It will end up being from September 26th of last year all the way through June 5th of this year. That's longer than we had in the initial pandemic. So we're excited. I'm excited. Eric's excited. Michael's excited. The whole Warrior team is excited to get back at it and to host people, to see people come in and visit us on campus in the stadium and get to welcome fans into the shows, and then to get to see the shows themselves. As much as we are the team that puts it on, we're also fans, and we're just looking forward to having wrestling again.
Definitely. You could definitely feel excited about 2021. We've got AEW, they're bringing a full capacity arena. WrestleMania had fans this year. And so Warrior Wrestling, I feel like, was the first step in that direction with outdoor events. You guys really pushed forward with that and bringing fans in. So, I think it's going to be a great year for professional wrestling. And eventually we'll hopefully get the indoor venues back by the fall and the winter, because I know you would love to run Warrior Wrestling on a more consistent basis as well.
Yeah, we've got a lot of ideas brewing. We don't have the green light fully yet to do a full indoor show, but we're hoping to be able to do it by the fall. So we've already got some creative ideas in the works for when we get that good news, what it will look like for Warrior. So you're right. It looks like we're on a really good road ahead.
Definitely. And we'll get right into the card. First match you had announced initially a month or two ago was pretty much a surprise, and that was Kylie Rae and Thunder Rosa. Kylie Rae, we know has not been wrestling since last fall. I think it was Bound for Glory. She was not part of that event, and that was the last match she was scheduled for. Announced her retirement following that event. I didn't think that was final, and I'm sure a lot of fans didn't as well, and even the ones that are close to her. But, it did seem like it might be some time before we saw Kylie Rae, maybe after a couple years after the pandemic. So she's coming back. Thunder Rosa, unfortunately, there was a delay in that. That match has been pushed to August. But talk about, that match in particular. Why August 21st, that's going to be the headliner.
Sure. So we were really excited to put that match together. As you mentioned, we kind of hoped in the back of our minds that Kylie might return to wrestling after stepping away in the fall. But if she didn't, that was okay. Our number one concern was always Kylie as the human being, not Kylie as the wrestler. And so our team was a little bit happily surprised when she reached out. We've been talking to her for months and months when she said, guys, I'm ready to go. I want to do a show. And we said, well, who do we think is the best person to line up for Kylie Rae? And we got her input on some challengers. And we thought that match, Thunder Rosa was white hot at the time, and she still is. She just come off that match with Britt Baker, and we thought that feels like a really, really big match. So we put it together. And as you mentioned, the NWA switched its taping schedule around a little bit. They actually have tapings that day on June 5th and then a pay-per-view the next day. So Thunder Rosa is primarily an NWA talent, so she could no longer do the June show. But the NWA was great. We worked with them and Thunder Rosa to make that the headliner of our August show. So it will be a great culmination of the Stadium Series when Kylie Rae and Thunder Rosa go one-on-one in August.
Yeah, very exciting news. I know Chicago loves Kylie Rae. I mean, I think most of the country that's into professional wrestling does, outside WWE. And they recognize her. They know who she is. She's really built her brand up. And I think it's also, telling Thunder Rosa, too, is always busy. Like, that woman doesn't take a break. I remember the last time, and she's done mixed martial arts. She's a fighter. And she brings that ferocity. She's like a pit bull every time we see her in that ring. So this will be an exciting match for the Warrior Wrestling Women's title. That's if Kylie Rae can get past her opponent at the June 5th event, which is, of course, Hollidead, and the tag team partner of Thunder Rosa as well, the Twisted Sisters. So that's going to be
we thought that was going to be a great, new match. If Thunder Rosa couldn't be there in June, well, what about Thunder Rosa's, traveling partner, former tag partner, Hollidead, and it'll be incredible. And regardless of who wins that match, so if Hollidead wins the title, she will defend the Warrior title going forward. Kylie versus Rosa will happen in August one way or another. If Kylie's got the belt, it'll be a title match. And if Hollidead has the belt, it'll be a non-title match between Kylie and Thunder Rosa.
I'm pretty confident at this point Kylie walks out at that night as the champion. And
well, we shall see.
We've seen her beat, Tessa Blanchard. We've seen her beat a lot of great, wrestlers. And, she was supposed to have that match with Deonna Purrazzo. That still hasn't happened yet. And that would be a great rematch because they actually wrestled back in the summer of 2017. They're part of their Rise event. So it's going to be, spectacular no matter what. And I think Kylie Rae always brings just that extra intrigue, that extra interest. She's got that spark to her and she can light up that room or the field. So I know whatever she's got planned, it's going to be very exciting.
Agreed. She's one of the rare wrestlers on earth that has every tool, that she has every part of the package of what it is to be a great professional wrestler. And you as a fan care about her. You care about every move that she executes or every predicament that her opponent puts her in. And that is what is so special about Kylie. So a Kylie match, you are always on the edge of your seat because you care so much.
Definitely. I definitely agree with that. And next up, of course, on the show, we'll go to the front of the card, to the end. And of course, the current champions are, Warrior Wrestling Women's Champion, Kylie Rae, and the Warrior Wrestling heavyweight champion, or the world champion, is Trey Miguel. And just talk about Trey Miguel winning that belt, being the face of Warrior Wrestling. It was unknown where he was going to go after he left Impact, but still being confident with him as your champion.
Yeah, so Trey won that belt over Brian Cage and Brian Pillman in a triple threat match at the end of the Stadium Series last year, and that was a shocker to a lot of people. I know backstage in the stadium, a lot of people thought, well, there's no way Trey Miguel's going to win this match. He will probably be the guy that gets beat. And it ended with Trey pinning our then current champion, Brian Pillman, and winning the title. But if you'd been a Warrior fan all along and you'd seen the Rascals and the way that they've progressed over the course of Warrior Wrestling, you know how special of an athlete Trey Miguel is. Trey Miguel in there with Will Ospreay at the height of Warrior 7 was, I believe, two of the best in the world. Iron sharpening iron, just going back and forth. Yeah. And so if you've been watching, you know how good he is. And you probably didn't underestimate him in that big triple threat match. And now here we are, and he is the champ. He's returned to Impact. He has really made a new name for himself since returning to Impact in his feud with Sami Callihan. It is clear to anybody that's watching that Trey Miguel is a star and Trey Miguel is on the rise. And we are really happy to have him represent us, not only as a performer, but also as a human being. You couldn't ask for a better guy.
Definitely. Well, I meant to say it was the end of the Rascals run on Impact Wrestling, obviously. And Trey Miguel still is with Impact Wrestling, although he had taken some time off. It was just uncertain where he was going to head from there. And now he will be part of Warrior Wrestling, which is exciting that he can still hold the Warrior Wrestling title. Going to be a great match we'll talk about later with him. But I think Trey Miguel has really proven himself, singles competitor in the trios with the Rascals, that he can be the main event. He's just kind of like that underdog, kind of like Daniel Bryan was, and he's gained more and more attention. And I think a lot of wrestlers, a lot of the fans are buying into him. Seen him in that headline role.
Everyone progresses in their career. At one point, he was a member of a 3-man unit, and the unit was special. Now, I think everybody sees that he himself is special, and it's going to be really cool to see where that goes.
Definitely. And now we'll talk about some other matches on the undercard. We have Casey Navarro, Cole Radrick, two young talents really trying to make a name for themselves at Warrior Wrestling. So tell us about this one. It's an exciting one because Cole Radrick, we've heard about him doing a lot of the GCW events. Casey Navarro, big independent star as well. And it's so much variety, I think, every time we see Warrior Wrestling.
That's what we try to do. We try to lay out a show in which no match is like another match. So that way every match has its own unique spot on the card to shine. And for this match, it is going to be a modern indie wrestling showcase with two of the quickest, most talented, most charismatic guys out there. And as you mentioned, Cole Radrick has had a good deal of success with GCW and really growing his brand nationally. Casey Navarro has done a lot of work for AEW. He's been on a lot of Dark and Dark Elevation, where he's wrestled a variety of their talents, and he's gotten incredible praise from guys like Brian Cage, guys like Phoenix, who have said this kid is the future. So we are really excited to have two guys that could be the next Trey Miguel, could be the next Lee Moriarty, and they're going to clash here for the first time ever at Warrior. It's a Warrior debut for each of them, so hopefully the audience really likes what they see.
Definitely. I don't think Cole Radrick has had any shows in the Chicago area as well. So,
no, it's rare that you get to see him around here, and that also makes it a little bit more special.
For sure. And two young talents, they're going to really put a great match together just to, to show that, hey, you guys got to pay attention to us.
Yep, absolutely.
And then we got Congo Kong, Beastman. I think this is going to be one of the more exciting collisions to happen on this main event. I mean, on this main card, I think Congo Kong has, people have saw him at Warrior Wrestling prior to this, saw what he can do. And Beastman as well, who is a winner, who won a lot of matches. He won the Spartan Scramble. So he's on his way to, to go up there and get maybe to the upper echelon of the Warrior Wrestling, maybe in the heavyweight division or a world championship. But he has to get past Congo Kong. Yeah,
you used the key word a moment ago, my friend, collision.
Yeah.
This is going to be two locomotives crashing into each other on the same track. This is Godzilla versus King Kong. And again, like you said a moment ago, we try to set up the show so that no two matches are the same, and there's nothing else like this match around. We're really excited for it.
Oh yeah, that's a great. I mean, Congo Kong has had a history of Impact Wrestling. We've seen an MLW, I believe, and Beastman is just really, I think, getting the recognition he deserves. I think that this guy is going to be on TV within the next couple of years.
Agreed.
Yeah, this is going to be a really fun match. Really athletic, I think, even for two big guys. We're going to see something we don't normally see in this one.
Yeah, I think people are really going to come away surprised and thrilled by this match.
Next up, we have Deonna Purrazzo, Rae Lyn, and Deonna Purrazzo is the Impact Wrestling Champion. And I don't believe she has not been part of Warrior since Warrior 1. So this is definitely a big return for her. Taking on Rae Lyn, who's been in the past couple of Warrior Wrestling Stadium Series shows. Both women are really athletic, really they're going to go hard.
Yes.
I think this is going to be a really fun match. Purrazzo is probably the most technically skilled, one of the most technically skilled in the ring right now. And I think that after her WWE release, I just think her stock rose tremendously, becoming a Knockouts champion within the first couple months of the company, and hasn't lost the belt yet. Has had everybody talking why she is probably number one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think her technical prowess is incredible. And like you mentioned a moment ago, Rae Lyn is so good at striking. Her speed, her striking, her kicks, her chops. And that's why I think this is going to be a phenomenal wrestling match. You have two women who are great athletes, great fighters. It's the first time they've ever been in a ring together. It is going to turn a lot of heads. I can tell you that.
Yeah, definitely. I think the women's division of Warrior Wrestling has always grown leaps and bounds. And if Deonna Purrazzo is joining the women's division, this is amazing. This is going to be nothing but beneficial for the women's division moving forward. And, she has the Impact Knockouts champion. One day she'd like to be the Warrior Wrestling Women's Champion. She would probably like more titles. So we'll see. Another great match on the card, of course. You've got Warhorse, Jake Something. And I really like this matchup. Two of the guys that I feel are, right at the top. I feel like Jake Something is underutilized in Impact. I've kind of said that in previous podcasts. I feel
Agreed.
like fun with him in Impact Wrestling. But, we know he's the Black Label Pro Heavyweight Champion. He's won the tag team titles in AAW. He's definitely, really made an impact not only in independent wrestling, but I think worldwide as well.
Yeah, that you hit the nail on the head when you said that he is underutilized. I think Impact maybe is beginning to wake up to what they have with him, but we've seen it from the start. He is a special talent. When you get a guy who is that large, that imposing looking and that athletic and that charismatic. And those are few and far between. I think Jake Something is a star waiting to erupt. And likewise, I think Warhorse is a star. I think Warhorse has found his own voice in the last year and a half or 2 years, and he has really become something special. And this is a collision of two rising stars. And not only are they both great performers and great personalities, each of them can go in the ring. This is going to be a really fun, you mentioned this earlier, you kind of like a heavyweight division. If we had different divisions, these would be two of the cornerstones of a heavyweight division because they're both such good pro wrestlers.
Definitely. And I think Jake Something still hasn't wrestled for the Warrior Wrestling title, but we know Warhorse did against Brian Pillman. So
yep,
a big win over Warhorse, and maybe Jake Something's getting the next title shot. We'll see, you know, obviously.
Yeah.
He's a nasty heel too. Like, I don't see why Impact doesn't run with that.
He's scary.
Yes.
He's truly scary.
Yeah. I think that this is going to be one of the more exciting matches. Warhorse has just got energy like nobody else, man. That guy can headbang for days and days.
He's a truly captivating performer.
Yeah, he is. A very exciting matchup. You know, like you said, maybe some world title implications, but it's just a fun match. Both these guys hit hard. They both love to, you know, get the audience into it, you know, interact with the audience. They don't mind going up top, even Jake Something, which is insane.
No. You know, he did Something faced Sam Adonis at the Stadium Series in September, and he did a few flip dives over the ropes. And I'm just thinking, man, that's a whole lot of meat flying through the air.
Yeah, definitely. And when you talk about Sam Adonis, well, he's going to take on Matt Cardona, who's, you know, formerly of the WWE, where he was Zak Ryder. And I think this is a great match. To my knowledge, you know, Mark Cardona has not even wrestled in the Midwest for a very long time, unless it was WWE. So this is a one-on-one matchup. This is going to be basically, I feel like, you know, Adonis is a guy that, you know, has been to Mexico. He's done a lot of great stuff, but he's never really gone on the major national network. You know what I mean? So if he can beat a guy like, you know, Cardona, who is established, you know, who's currently Impact Wrestling star, I think that speaks volumes.
Agreed. You know, we talked about this a moment ago with Jake Something, and a little bit to a lesser extent with Trey Miguel. I think Sam Adonis is another one of those guys who the world is sleeping on. His talent is so strong that all we really need is one of the major companies to recognize it and put the rocket behind him. And right now he's just returned to AAA in Mexico. So he's really building himself again down in Mexico. And as you and I talked about earlier off air, Matt Cardona is so talented. I'm shocked that he's not with WWE anymore, but their loss is our gain, because I think Cardona Adonis is going to be a phenomenal wrestling match and also a phenomenal event that draws in people to care. We talked about this with Kylie. People care about Sam Adonis. They don't like him. And people care about Matt Cardona. They love him. And that is the perfect combination for a fun wrestling match.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think both these guys, I mean, they can steal the show, any card that they're on. You know, they both are very athletic and they're a lot of fun. You know, obviously, you know, Sam Adonis likes to talk trash, even during the match, which makes it a lot of fun, you know, just to see him do that. And, you know, Matt Cardona loves to get the fans involved as well. So big match.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And Sam Adonis also, he came out victorious against Jake Something. So for him to continue that momentum would be huge as well.
Yeah, Sam's on the upswing. You know, he was one of the last two against Pillman in that war of attrition for the title in February of 2020, which feels like 10 years ago. Yeah. It wasn't that long ago. And since then, he's defeated Jake Something, and he might be on his way back for the title. We got to wait and see.
Definitely. A very exciting matchup. We'll see what happens afterwards. And then, of course, we get to the Warrior Wrestling Lucha War of Attrition match. This is an exciting match. And if people don't know these competitors, they've been, you know, wrestling nonstop. We've seen them in Gali Lucha and other, you know, AAA, a lot of the big Mexican promotions. I think Laredo Kid, he was a former AAA Cruiserweight champion.
Yep.
So we'll start off with him. Great talent. And he's also made appearances in AEW Dynamite, including the main event.
Yeah, he has really stolen the show, teaming with Penta and Phoenix. He joined them originally in summer of 19 briefly, and then he made his return this last 6 or 7 weeks. And he's had a few major matches on Dynamite and has really just impressed everybody. So we are excited to have him make his Warrior debut. And he is a true unique talent. I think people are he's one of those kind of guys that you have to see live. Sure, you can watch the clips, but seeing him live is the only thing that can do it justice.
Definitely. I got to see him at the Tribute to Discovery at Galley Wrestling. Great match. Yeah, 6-man tag. We've got also on the card Gringo Loco, Chicago guy, MLW. He's wrestled in AAA Mexico as well. What do you think about him?
Gringo is incredible. He's been on many Warrior shows. He's had matches with Volador. He's had matches with Adonis and Pillman and Wardlow. He's been involved in 6-man matches. He had a scramble with Aerostar and Drago and Warhorse and Taurus. And so Gringo always delivers. He is a stalwart of Lucha Libre in the United States, and he definitely deserves to be one of the 8 men to get a shot at our first ever Lucha Libre title.
Definitely. He's a hometown guy, so that'd be huge if he could walk out with the championship at Warrior Wrestling. He has a great relationship with the fans. Like,
yes,
fans, they love to boo him, but it's kind of like it's organic. You know what I mean? They'll even cheer for him in certain times. But I just think he has a great atmosphere, great relationship with the fans. When I've seen in Guy Lucha.
Yeah. And, speaking of great relationship with the fans, as far as presence and interaction, Black Taurus is in this match as well. And he is, we talked earlier about the presence and the character of guys like Jig Something. Taurus is from another world. He's like something that's come out of your nightmares. And the fans are just so drawn to everything that he does in the ring, because you don't expect a monster of that size to be able to move that way. And he's been on 2 Warrior shows before. He's been on Warrior 7 and Warrior 8. And so he is a shoe-in as well for a chance to possibly be our first ever Lucha champion. So you've got already, Laredo Kid, Gringo Loco, Taurus. And if that was a triple threat, you'd say, wow, that's going to be an incredible match. But there's 5 more guys in this match.
Right. Definitely. Going to be an exciting matchup. I can't wait for it. Aramis is going to be a part of it. Arez, who I got to see him at Galley Lucha, another great talent as well. So many great wrestlers are going to be part of this. There's only one that's going to come out on top, but we'll see what happens, right?
Yeah, and the other 3 are Golden Dragon, who's local, so you might know if you've watched Kylie. He's incredible, as well as Canis Lupus and Dragon Bane, who are 2 brothers out of Mexico that are just unbelievably talented. A lot of people think they are going to be the next Pentagon and Phoenix. Dragon Bane is very much in the mold of Phoenix in the way that he moves and his speed and his flying ability. So when you put all of these guys together, and it's a war of attrition match. So it starts off 4-on-4. One team is eliminated, then it's 2-on-2. One team is eliminated, then it's 1-on-1, and the winner is finally crowned the Warrior Wrestling Lucha champion. The action is going to be truly unbelievable in this. I mean, as a fan of wrestling, I am going to be watching, hoping nobody gets hurt, and just with my jaw on the floor at all the incredible things that these guys are going to do.
Definitely. Well, after last year, the Luchadors are finally back in Warrior. So that's
and that was the issue, right? During the pandemic, we couldn't bring anybody from Mexico. So we had Daga was on one show, but Daga's living in the States now. Other than that, though none of the Luchadors could come in and join us. And so it's really special for us to have Lucha back in Warrior, because Lucha has been a staple of Warrior, and we want it to be a staple of Warrior every single show.
Great idea. Giving them the championship belt to wrestle for as well. I think it's going to just elevate the Luchadors to come to Warrior Wrestling. I think we're going to see more of them come out of the woodwork.
I think so. We're in a lot of talks with whoever wins this belt. We're going to line up the best challengers possible all summer. So it is going to, if you like Lucha, you've got to keep your eye on Warrior, because we are going to keep providing the best Lucha we possibly can.
Definitely. One name that sticks out is I got the last Galley show. I could see him competing for this belt. Coming to Warrior is Ricky Marin.
Yeah, he's a veteran. We've talked to him. There was a chance, there was a chance he was maybe going to be in this match, but it just didn't quite work out and line up logistically. So that is definitely a possibility down the line.
Awesome. Yeah, I know he's doing a GCW, I think today.
Hmm.
And he told me that he was invited to do Impact. He wasn't sure if he could do it or not. So we'll see if that comes out.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. Next up, of course, we've got the main event. Trey Miguel defends against Lee Moriarty, and Lee Moriarty is the former IWTV champion. Which, if you guys watch IWTV, they have their own championship belt that's defended on different promotions, and he lost that title just recently.
Well, he's incredible. So IWTV is, I think they've got a great eye for talent, and a lot of great wrestlers have held their belt. Warhorse was a previous champion as well. And Lee Moriarty was on one show with us last year and against Trey Lamar, and it was just a phenomenal match. Lee is preternaturally talented. I mean, this is a guy who just loves wrestling, studies it, absorbs it, and he is like a pseudo Trey Miguel. He's kind of like an Alex Shelley. He's kind of like a Leo Rush. He's got all of these quick moves and counters, and he just has a confidence that he carries himself with. So we talked earlier about the way that Trey Miguel has evolved in his last 6, 7, 8 months. Lee Moriarty has also evolved. And this is a first time ever matchup. If you are a fan of catch can, quick reversals, and speed in pro wrestling, this match is for you.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see, what happens, because Lee Moriarty is tough. Trey Miguel, of course, we just, talked about him, everything he's done to get to this point. It's going to be a very exciting matchup. I think Lee Moriarty is a good with a striking. I think he's, technically he's got wins over guys that are big. Like he beat Josh Alexander in Black Label Pro, and they're supposed to have a rematch in the future. So I think Lee Moriarty, everything we've seen from him, he is definitely worthy. He may not have racked in, been with Warrior Wrestling for a while and racked up a ton of wins. But I think if you go and look at his career outside of Warrior, this is definitely a guy who's worthy of this title shot.
Yeah, we look at the whole of someone's career. So Lee's only, as I said, been here one show before. Like you said,
Right.
He's just got one show, one win. But if you look at what he's done all across wrestling in the last year, that is what earns him this shot. We want to bring in the best. So hopefully the best is our champion. And then we want to bring in the other best and see who comes out on top. And Lee's resume earns that. And we're really excited for this match.
For sure. And then I have to ask you about all the recent releases from the WWE, and maybe possibly we don't know where they'll end up, but maybe possibly you could get them a part of Warrior Wrestling in the future.
Obviously that would be a dream. We would love to have guys like Samurai Del Sol, who's Kalisto in WWE, or Samoa Joe, of course, or Daniel Bryan. Can you imagine Daniel Bryan versus Trey Miguel? Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, versus Trey Miguel. It would just be next level. It would be otherworldly. So that is very much on our radar. I know those guys are locked up through July. They can't do anything until at least mid-July. So we're going to keep watching and waiting. But if they're out there and listening and they're interested in having the best competition in the world and the best matches that they can have anywhere, give us a call. Warrior Wrestling will make it happen.
Definitely. Andrade too, he's out there.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so there's it's always opportunities when we see those releases, and hopefully Warrior Wrestling will provide some great shows that they could be a part of in the future. I mean, I think that's what you guys have been doing, and we can't wait. Of course, Warrior Wrestling June 5th, and I want to give you a chance to plug how everybody can purchase their tickets and get ready for the event.
Thank you. Tickets and all information, as well as merch, past videos, streaming, etc. It's all at warriorwrestling.net. Everything is there, easy to click on and find. Our socials are at Warrior Wrestling with no vowels in wrestling, WRSTLNG. That's on Twitter and Instagram. And we've got a Facebook page as well, just Warrior Wrestling. Follow us, get your tickets. And the one thing we'd stress too is consider getting the season pass. If you want to have fun at wrestling shows all summer, the season pass gets you a field seat and a VIP fan ticket to all 3 shows. It gets you a free Warrior Wrestling mask. It gets you 4 free posters. It gets you extra kids 16 and under to bring with for free, and free parking. It's a $450 value for $300. So you save 30%. So if you're thinking you might want to come to all the shows, get the season pass. We only have about a little over 30 of them left before we sell out of them. So get the season pass, and we'll see you all summer long.
Yeah, when you talk about the meet and greet, it's very rare to meet wrestlers in person nowadays. Most of that is
Mhm.
relegated to being online, and they get pretty pricey individually.
Yes.
So
Yeah, but for us, you
cool.
get that VIP meet and greet, the Fan Fest. You get to meet everybody, hang out with everybody, meet podcasters, jump on a podcast maybe for a fan interview. It's a really cool festival feel. It's something that's been a staple of Warrior since our very first show, and it's very important to us. So it's not just the show you're seeing; it's the community you're coming to join and hang out with.
Definitely. You got the Warrior Wrestling foam belts too.
Yes.
That's nice. Yeah. Can't wait to pick up one of those because that's really cool, man. I think that design too is amazing. Like I was just watching the 300 movie and then just
Yeah.
me a Warrior. Like that's
It looks like a Spartan helmet. It
Yes,
looks, that's
exactly.
we looked at a
How many-
lot of logos and that's what we came down to. We actually, I narrowed it down to maybe 20 different potential logos for Warrior Wrestling. And we sent it around to a lot of our friends, all these, obviously our crew, everybody internally, and everybody voted and gave feedback. And we felt like that was the cleanest, easiest, most recognizable, cool logo. And so
it is.
we're really happy with it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I appreciate you, Steve, for being on Pro Wrestling Enforcer, man. You're welcome back anytime. Great to see you today. And, obviously, guys, follow Warrior Wrestling. We'll have this interview up. I'll be up there as well. So you say hi to me if you see me there. Great event. I mean, Chicago Heights, not even that far from the city and even surrounding suburbs. So it just makes it accessible. I really like the way that you've done things during the pandemic. It gives you something to look forward to, because I mean, obviously we love watching wrestling on TV or collecting the DVDs and watching online, but when you can be there in person, there is nothing like it. And I do love that outdoor atmosphere, but eventually we'll have to get back into the indoors and get back to the old Warrior Wrestling atmosphere, which I love as well.
Agreed. There is nothing like live wrestling. I tell everybody this. I love a lot of different sports and a lot of different things, and I always say pro wrestling and hockey are the two things that you have to see live, because once you've seen it live, you appreciate it to a far different level. So if you're listening and you've never been to a wrestling show or you haven't been in a while, come out and join us, experience live pro wrestling.
Definitely, man. Yeah, get your mask on.
Yes, sir.
Wow, man. Because I just think that Warrior Wrestling, what you guys do, especially when you got the 3 monthly shows like back to back to back, that makes it even more exciting. Because usually we only saw you guys like 4 times a year. It was spaced out over months. So this is really cool, and appreciate you, Steve, again, being on Pro Wrestling Enforcer, man. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thanks, Sean. Great to talk to you, and I will see you soon, my friend.
Anytime.
Take care.
Take care. WarriorWrestling.net.